Hey guys, welcome back to the Next Brave Step podcast. Today, we're just going to be doing a quick little life update. We're going to chat about some of the things that I've learned in therapy over the past few years, but I've really put these lessons into practice the most in the last 6 months. So let's dive on in. Hello, and welcome to the Next Brave Step podcast, the podcast that's all about turning dreams into action. I'm your host, Chelsy Wise. Now, this podcast is more than just something to listen to while you fold laundry. Instead, imagine I'm inviting you to join me in my kitchen, a space for genuine and transformative conversations. Here, with the sunlight streaming through the windows, margaritas and homemade guac on the table, we're ready to dive into stories and strategies that don't just inspire you to think about a better life, but give you the tools, motivation to go out there and make it happen. So pull up a chair, let's talk like old friends, and together we'll navigate the journey from turning dreaming into doing, one brave step at a time. Your adventure towards making your dreams a reality starts right here. All right, before we dive completely into today's episode, I want to quickly chat with you about the Next Brave Step Collective. If you haven't heard about it, the Brave Step Collective, it is a membership created specifically for female creative entrepreneurs. Inside the collective, you'll get access to all of my trainings that I have ever created, limited free one-on-one coaching calls, monthly group coaching calls, along with access to all of my official trainings. You'll get access to monthly trainings where we'll be diving deep into my signature 5-step coaching program to help you streamline your systems, meet your revenue goals, and create more ease within your business. The Brave Step Collective is for women who are right on the cusp of something great, but need those extra tools and accountability to take the next brave step forward into the next level of their business. Inside the Brave Step Collective, you'll get access to all of the trainings, courses, one-on-one coaching, group coaching for just $99 a month. And that's a freaking steal when you consider that my blogging course alone is $289 and a single coaching session is $250. If you're ready to join or want to learn more, head over to bravestepcollective.com or you can find the link in the show notes below. All right, let's dig in. So, as some of you know, and many of you might not, I spent most of 2023 as the Economic Development Director for the city of Tioga. Now, I absolutely loved this job and this role, and I learned so much. I loved helping out small businesses, get access to funding, work on marketing and branding, and as well as working on expanding into new locations. I learned so much in that role and realized that economic development was just amazing. I loved that role. Now, what I didn't love was the politics of it. I worked directly for the city, and that meant that I was a government employee. And it was a lot of stress mentally. Also, there was just some things in the office culture that I didn't love. I also really did not love punching a time clock, 9 to 5, and slowly waiting for PTO to build up to hopefully have enough time off to go to my sister's wedding. And that led me in September to make a pretty significant change into becoming the editor and business development manager of a media company. Now, that role ended up being pretty short lived for a few different reasons. But in that transition period of going from economic development director to editor, I struggled deeply with what are people going to think? Because in my mind, I perceived this economic development director as this like prestigious, really well respected career. And it is. However, one of the things that my therapist preached to me over and over and over again was that other people's opinions don't matter. And it is a hard pill to swallow sometimes that honestly, other people's opinions don't matter to you. And everyone's got an opinion, and some people are going to be for you, and some people are going to be against you, and you can't make everybody happy. And also, it's your life. What does what they think about what you're doing for a job have anything to do with you. It really doesn't, because you're the one that has to live in your shoes, your day to day life. And for me, I hated punching the time clock. I am currently working at 8:27 on a Sunday evening. And not because I have to, but because yesterday I decided to go over to my friend's house and help her tear out all of the drywall and replace it with shiplap going up her stairs. And then we drove to Menards at like 7:30 at night to finish getting the rest of the trim pieces. And because I work for myself, I was able to reconfigure my schedule so that I could do the things that I wanted to do, spend time with the people that I wanted to spend time with, and work at 8:30 on a Sunday evening. And that's totally fine. That is what fills me up. That's how I want to spend my time and have the flexibility in my life. And other people's opinions about how fancy my job title is doesn't matter one bit to me. Now, I went from the economic development director to the editor of a media company. And that was an interesting role. I was there for about 2.5 months, which is by far my shortest job that I've ever had. And it was rough. Like, I learned a lot of things, but there was just so much lack of direction and focus in the business that I dreaded opening my email on Monday mornings. Now, I got to work from home, so that part was great. I got to manage my own schedule. That was awesome. But the level of stress that came along with that job, I was not prepared for. And I really felt like I was locked into this and had to realize through a lot of therapy that there is always options. I decided to quit and go full time with my business. And that was a really, really scary decision to make. It meant that I was like losing the current healthcare. It meant that I was losing that steady paycheck. And it was rough to make that decision because I felt so locked into the first decision that I had made. And the lesson that my therapist taught me was that there's always options. So I can go full time in my business. And if I decide that I need something else, I can transition to something else if I want to. And I think it's so easy for us to look at a situation that we're in life and believe that that's the only option when truly it's not. There is always another option. It might not be an option that you like, might not be an option that makes the most sense, but there is always another option in whatever situation that you're in. Now, I could have be in my predictable 9 to 5, and that would be just fine. But I wouldn't be living life on my own terms. I would still be stuck in this nice, neat little box that society very often tricks us into believing will fit perfectly. However, I have chosen something different. And that is really where the next lesson in therapy has come into play. And that is the fact that we only have one life to live. And you can play it small and you can live inside that nice, neat box, always wondering what's on the outside or what would have happened if I had actually tried. But you and you alone are the ones that are going to have to deal with the decision that you make for your life. And I myself have decided that I'm going to live life boldly. I am going to stand up for what I believe in. I'm going to make decisions that are going to put me where I want to be in life, even if that goes against what small town North Dakota mentality says is safe or the right option. And it's hard sometimes, but it is so incredibly worth it. Like, so incredibly worth it. Now, the last lesson or the next lesson that I have learned in therapy is the very simple phrase that I very frequently repeat to myself, and that is not my circus, not my monkeys. And I was kind of trying to think about a really good analogy, a good story to share with you about this one. And a really good one happened just about 2 weeks ago. I have four younger sisters, and sister number three is getting married. And so we had her bachelorette party. And nope, sister number four, just kidding. I'm one. One, two, three, four. So number four is getting married. And we had her bachelorette party down in Deadwood, South Dakota. It was super fun. We rented the cutest Airbnb, had a great hot tub, danced my little butt off at bodegas, and had just the biggest blast ever. But the afternoon before we were going to go out for our big night out on the town, sister number three decided that she wanted to wear a white shirt, and the bride sister was not happy about it. Now, in the past, I probably would have tried to get between them and try and smooth things over. But I am to a point in life right now where I am protecting my inner peace. And we are grown as adults, all of my sisters and I. And it's not my circus, not my monkeys. It's not my drama to get into. And that is something that's really hard to do with family, is to not intervene and not try and fall back into those roles that you were in when you were a child. But I am so glad that I didn't step into it. Now, one of my other sisters did and smoothed things over, and it ended up being okay, but she was super stressed out about it because she had gotten into the middle of it. And I was just sitting there drinking my water and doing my hair and doing my makeup and enjoying my weekend because I was not going to get tied up into that drama. Now, we ended up having a great time. Sister number three found something else to wear. It was fine. Taylor's going to get married this summer, so you'll get to see her wedding pictures on the blog. I get to photograph that one. I'm so honored. I have gotten to photograph every single one of my sister's weddings. My sister number five, my little baby sister, just got engaged at the NFR over over Christmas this last year, and so they are planning a wedding for 2025. I don't think she set a date yet, but I will be photographing that. And this summer, we're going to go do her engagement pictures out on the feedlot, which I'm so excited for. So stay tuned for those images later. But back to it, not my circus, not my monkeys. It is something that I repeat over and over and over and over again. And it's also something that Joel will repeat to me as well when I start to get into the weeds of things. Now, there is one more lesson that I've learned over the past 6 months. Really, it's been something that I've been cultivating over the last 2 years. And that is the lesson that courageous conversations are really necessary. And what do I mean by this? So every single week, Joel and I sit down and have a date night. Some weeks we go out to eat and see a movie or, go walk around one of the hunting stores or go get crumble cookies. And other times it is just us eating dinner at the police department. He's a police officer, so it makes sense that we're there. But we do date night every single week. And on date night, we have what we call date night questions. And there are 4 questions that we ask every single week, and they go in this order. So the first question that we ask each other is there anything that I have done in the last week that has upset you or that you didn't like or that, caused some type of friction between us that I am unaware of? And, those can be that's like the hard question to answer sometimes. And sometimes it's really big things and sometimes it's really small things. But it it comes from this place of wanting to better understand how we are interacting with each other. The next question is, how have I loved you well this week? And sometimes this is super like deep and, you know, emotional, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's very surface level. So this was this question we asked last night. Joel asked me last night, and I shared with him that one of the ways that he loved me well this week was he's been working nights. So he came home from work and in the morning, and my daughter Skylar wanted to get up early and see Joel before she went off to school because she would be going to her dad's later that evening. And her and Joel just have like the sweetest relationship ever. It has been so wonderful to watch those two develop this really, really awesome relationship. And what had happened is that morning, I had looked on Life 360 early in the morning, saw that he was headed home, shut my alarm off because I was like, okay, I will wake up when comes in and takes off all his gear. And then I will get up with him and we'll get the kids up and we'll have breakfast and they'll get on the bus and we'll start my day. Now, instead of waking up to him walking in to like drop off all his gear and go get the kids ready, I walked into him coming to get a towel for Grayson because Grayson was already in the shower. We're working on potty training and it's not going super smoothly. So he had put Grayson in the shower and was coming to get a towel and already had Skylar up and going. And it was so refreshing to have a partner who is willing and active participant in raising kids. And I was just so thankful for that. Now, that was wonderful. But the part of the morning that really like hit me in the heart, hit me in the feels was we finished at breakfast. We're waiting for the bus. And I was sitting there snuggling with Grayson on the couch because he's kind of my bear cat who does not like getting up early in the morning. And the only reason that he does is because he gets to snuggle with mom on the couch under the heated blanket while we wait for the bus. So we were doing that. And Skylar had finished eating her pancakes, and Joel had brushed her hair and put it in a ponytail. And Joel started to do dishes, and he stopped doing dishes, and he looked around, and he asked Skylar if she wanted to go have family cuddle time on the couch before school. And she's like, yes. And she like jumps up, and he scoops her up in his arms and comes and sits on the couch next to me and Grayson. And we just sat there and we watched the snow fall as we waited for the bus to come. And so often, like our mornings can be super hectic trying to get everyone like dressed and make sure they've got matching gloves and boots and all the things like out the door. And that morning was like super quiet. And like we just sat there and I don't even know if we all four of us talked, but we all just sat there on the couch and it was awesome. And I got to share that with him during our date night question of like, how did you love me well? To explain to him like how much that really meant to me. And of course he was like, "Oh, it's nothing. Like that's what, being in a relationship should look like and all the things." And then he's like, "Well, I don't have anything like that like emotional to share." He's like, "I liked it when you stacked my butt the other morning when I got out of the shower." Like, and that's kind of how that date night question goes. Is like, how have I loved you well? And when you can articulate to your partner like what it is that they're doing right, it can be super transformative in your relationship. The next question that we ask on date night is there anything going on in your week ahead of you? Basically, it's just like general scheduling stuff. So, at working at the police department, his week to week looks very different. They're really short staffed right now. And so he's covering a lot of on call shifts. So, like, our week schedule just looks different. We always try and set which date we're going to do or which day we will do date night the week before. And then the last question that we ask is, how can I love you well this week? And that is kind of our opportunity to share with each other like where we anticipate we're going to need support. And that has been really, really helpful. Now, all of those things combined, all of those questions, those date night things, like continuously have been something that has transformed me personally and our relationship and really my life so much that I just want everybody to do date night questions. And Joel and I actually put together a that we put together for a episode that we are recording together. We actually recorded, I don't think it's come out yet, where we talked a lot about date night questions and you've got a printable and all of the things. And if you want to get access to that, I will link that down below. But really, what I wanted to share with you guys is just kind of a life update and lessons that I've learned throughout the last year because I think it's really important to share those lessons. One thing that I think I've really clung to the past couple years has been that life and business are going to have so many ups and downs. Like it always feels like you just go from putting out one fire to the next fire. There's always something else that you're dealing with. And there is a lot of power in looking at it through the lens that you get to choose what you take from each situation, what lessons that you want to take with you and learn in life. But you also have the opportunity to leave any baggage from the past season or the past, episode of life and not carry that with you. Because if you are carrying all this baggage with you, it's going to get really heavy as you start to try and climb that next mountain in front of you. So, my hope for you today is that you will, you know, learn some of these lessons that I learned in therapy and think about them. And I hope that you try date night questions and all the things. So, again, the lessons that we kind of talked about were other people's opinions are none of your damn business. You always have another option. You only have one life, so live it bravely. Not my circus, not my monkeys. And courageous conversations lead to the biggest transformations. So I hope that you enjoyed this episode. It was a little bit more candid, and I think I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it too. If you like this episode, want to hear more like this, drop a comment or review. I would love to hear your feedback on the show this season. We've got a lot of really great guests lined up. If you would like to be a guest on the podcast or know someone that you think should be a guest on the podcast, you can head over to the link below in the show notes and send in a nomination, whether you're nominating yourself or you're nominating someone else. I'd love to have more guests on the show. Like I said, we've got a really great lineup ahead of us, and I cannot wait for you to hear some of the amazing stories of transformation and brave steps that others are taking in their business and in their life. So that is it for today. I will see you in the next episode. That's it. I love you guys. Bye. That wraps up today's episode of The Next Brave Step. I've truly enjoyed having you join me on this journey. Here at The Next Brave Step, we don't just talk about our dreams, we take bold actions towards them every day. Stay connected by hitting that subscribe button and dive even deeper with us by becoming part of the Next Brave Step Insiders group on Facebook. Let the insights and energy from today's conversation ignite your next brave step forward. Remember, every small step is a vital part of your incredible journey. So get out there and take that next step forward. You're never alone. I'll be right here cheering you on. I'll see you in the next episode.